notes page on rational functions. So first step is factor everything. And I'm going to take out a -4, or just take out a -4, we get x squared minus 9. So I have -4, x minus 3, x plus 3. And I'm going to go in the order that I think is the most helpful to figuring this out. So I first want to see which factors cancel and reduce. So that's my whole. Whole would be at x equals -3. And to find the y value for the whole, you plug in -3 into your reduced function. So over here on the side, -3 plus 4 over -4 times, it'd be -6. So that'd be 1/24. Not very easy. It's going to be not very easy to see on your graph. Basically, that's almost a 0. So I'm going to put a little open circle, oops, be down below, open circle right there, just so I remember I have it. Now, what's left over, I have a vertical asymptote at x equals 3. And let's see if I have any horizontal asymptotes. I look at the highest power, which is x squared. So I have highest. They are the same. Since they're the same, my horizontal asymptote is that the coefficient of the numerator over the coefficient of the denominator. So y equals -1/4. So that's a horizontal line right here, almost the x-axis. X-intercepts, I go back to my factored form, and what makes the x-intercept is what makes y 0. So whatever makes the numerator 0. So -4, 0 is the x-intercept. And y-intercept is when x is 0. And I just cover up all the x's and see what's left there. So the y-intercept is at 0, 1/3. So at this point, everything is on the graph. That's when you want to go ahead and graph. So I'm going to put in my equation before I factor, because I want all the stuff to be on there, right? Don't put in the factored form. Parentheses around it all. So, rough sketch, I'm coming here really close through this point. There's a hole right there, heads through, and then it always is going to run up the asymptote, and then it picks up where it left off and heads that way. Okay, number 5, start with your information on before you put it in your calculator. So x squared. You can pause and factor this. I'm gonna pause it to save a little time. Okay, so it's factored. I'm gonna go in the same order. I'm gonna cancel. That means there's a hole at x equals -4. And then I can cancel out. I can make this into an x. That cancels out. So the question will be, is there a hole? Well, I canceled out one of the x's. So if I cancel one out, then there's going to be a hole at 0. We'll check that out in the calculator just to make sure. Okay, so my new form of my function, the reduced form, is x over 4 times x minus 4. And so now when I go to plug in my -4, I get -4 over 4 times -8. So that's 1/8. If I were going to plug in 0 here, then I get 0 over, doesn't matter because 0, 0. All right, so I still a little question about that one. Just see, we'll come back and check it out. I have an open circle there, -4, 1/8. There's an open circle there. Now let's find the vertical asymptote. Go back to wherever your factored form was. So vertical asymptote is at x equals 4. Horizontal asymptote, go to the original function. Highest power is 3, so they're the same power. So the horizontal asymptote is at y equals 1/4, leading coefficient. So just above the x-axis. And it's above my hole just a little bit there. It's just giving you a guide for what to graph. X-intercept is where the numerator here is 0. So now I have a problem. So you might be able to even answer it without your calculator. So if my x-intercept should be at x equals 0, should be at 0, 0, our point that we made. But since if I go up to this original function and say I want to check it before I factor everything out, when I go here, 0 minus 0 over 0 minus 0. And you might think that 0 divided by 0 is 0, but when you do that when you do 0 divided by 0 on your calculator, you get error. Okay, so turns out this hole is not even part of my graph. Undefined x-intercept point, it should be where that is. So you can't count that as an x-intercept. Sorry to get all scribbly there. I can't erase the pen. So we're gonna say hole at 0, 0. We're gonna do a little investigating. Okay, what else can I get? Y-intercept. Same thing. So this graph should be going through 0, 0, which would be giving us our x and our y-intercept. I think it's time to graph and see what we can figure out the rest of it. So x to the third minus 4x squared pausing this thing just a second. Okay, so here's my graph. Oh, and the original one's plus, so this is why you can do the algebra first, just to double check. I entered it as a minus, change it back to a plus. So you see, when it graphs, it kind of disappears, and then it reappears. So it's scraping along here, goes through the hole, comes back out. So if you want to say, I don't know for sure if that's a hole or not, go to the table. Definitely. Okay? So there's a hole there, even though that x was still left over. What it means is that would be where the x and y intercept are, but there's nothing there because we're talking about a hole first before you get to the other parts. Okay, I will make another video for the last two problems.